Deep in the woods, far from help and even farther from reason, some things were never meant to be found. From terrifying encounters to mysterious creatures lurking in the trees. These are the creepiest moments ever caught on camera, and some people never made it back out.
What the f***?
A hiker was trekking up a mountain, just looking for a peaceful view. But what he found was the opposite. Not far off, a group of people were doing something strange. Their setup didn't look like camping. It felt like a ritual, maybe even a cult. He didn't stop to find out. Quietly, he backed away and hiked down fast. Whatever they were doing up there, it wasn't meant to be seen. And if they had noticed him, he might not have made it back. Tree crawler. This guy stepped out of his hut late one night after hearing weird noises. Probably thought it was just wind or maybe an animal. But nope. What he saw was a pale girl in a white dress, crouched behind a tree, totally still, just watching. When she moved, her limbs bent in ways they shouldn't, and you could hear cracking, like someone breaking glow sticks. Then she started slowly walking toward him. He bolted back inside, but she wasn't done. She followed and peeked through the window in a creepy manner, and the footage ended right then.
Who are you?
Forest thing. This guy was out camping with friends, deep in some thick woods. Couldn't sleep, so he decided to take a late-night walk. That's when he started hearing strange sounds. Now, most of us would head straight back, but not him. He followed the noise, and suddenly, there it was. Some twitchy creature with a weird shape. It didn't look human, but it definitely noticed him. It started creeping closer, but instead of panicking, the guy just kept recording. No screaming, no running, just straight up filming, like it was nothing. Eventually, the thing wandered off into the trees. One thing's for sure, this dude fully embraced the cameraman never quits mindset. Weird but human. These two guys had the internet losing its mind. People were calling them demons, dark messengers, just all out creepy vibes. But turns out, they're just TikTok creators known as the Goddess Boys, doing a bit for the Uncanny Valley Challenge. Yep, not monsters, just two guys in offbeat costumes acting super weird on purpose. Their video even has the line, "We're human, we promise," which honestly makes it weirder. The way they move and talk, just off enough to make your brain feel uncomfortable. It's that classic, something's wrong but I can't say what feeling. Creepy for sure, but also kinda hilarious once you realize they're just dudes trolling the whole internet. Forest Djinn. Some hikers were exploring the woods late at night with flashlights when they saw something creepy. A girl in a white robe sat alone in the dark, holding a weird-looking bag. As they looked closer, things got worse. Her face was twisted, skin pale and sickly yellow, mouth black, eyes wide like she wasn't human. People believe she was a djinn, a dark spirit known to shapeshift. The group didn't take any chances. They turned back fast because whatever that thing was, it wasn't meant to be seen. Axwoman.
Hello.
YouTuber Kaz and his two friends thought it'd be cool to explore an abandoned campsite in the woods. Classic spooky content, right? They ignored all the warning signs and kept pushing deeper into the forest. Then, things got real. Out of nowhere, a woman in a white robe holding an actual axe came sprinting at them. The boys didn't wait. They just scattered and ran for their lives. Later, cops found the woman and had to calm her down. She was taken to the station, but the whole thing left Kaz totally shaken. It was real and scary. SpiderMan.
How you doing?
A group was just chilling near the edge of the woods, nothing serious, until something started crawling out of the trees. At first, it looked like a big animal, but as it got closer, they realized it wasn't. It was a man, but not walking, crawling on all fours like a spider. His face stayed hidden in the shadows, and his body moved in this creepy, twitchy way that didn't feel human at all. The group froze for a second, then panicked and ran for their lives. Whatever that was, it didn't feel like a person. It felt like something old and cursed. Mountain creep. In a quiet village in Iraq, a woman noticed her child heading toward the mountain trails alone. Worried, she followed. What she saw next chilled her to the bone. A dark figure, almost like a shadow with a body, was standing in front of her child, calling to them. Without thinking, she rushed forward, grabbed her kid, and threw rocks at the figure to scare it off. It didn't chase her, it just stood there, watching. Locals later said this figure had been seen before, known for luring people away and using dark magic on them. The woman saved her child that day, but that thing, it's still out there. Birdlike Horror. A weird video showed up online. No one knows who posted it, but it sent the internet into full freak-out mode. In it, a group of park rangers are deep in the woods, just doing their thing, when they run into something terrifying. A tall creature, bird-like, but with long, sharp claws, steps into view. It just stands there, totally still, then suddenly bolts toward them at full speed. That's where the video cuts out. The rangers, never seen again. That thing was not supposed to be seen. Dark gown. This guy went out exploring a forest trail alone and instantly felt something was off, like goosebumps for no reason. Then, right ahead on the path, a figure appeared, wearing a dark, flowing gown. The guy didn't stick around. He ran full speed and never returned to that area. Later, other hikers shared similar stories, saying they saw the same figure in the woods, but no one knows what it was. Tree Witch. Late one night, a villager in Indonesia walked into the forest, probably just checking on something or heading home. But what he saw stopped him cold. Hanging from a tree branch was a white figure, completely still. Then it slowly sat up in this creepy, unnatural way. Its face was covered in hair and cloth, like a cursed woman or some kind of forest witch. He froze, heart racing, before taking off full speed back to the village. He never looked back. The craziest part? No one ever saw that thing again. It just vanished, almost like it showed up just to scare one person and mess with his head forever. Prank gone wrong. A woman headed into the woods with her dog to film a ghost prank. It was supposed to be funny content, but things got creepy fast. Before she even hit record, a man's scream echoed from deep in the forest. It didn't sound fake, it sounded real. Then came another sound, even louder and more disturbing. She froze, but only for a second. Grabbing her dog, she ran back without looking back. The prank never happened, and whatever made those sounds, still unknown. The forest kept it secret. Forest clown. An older woman took her grandkids for a walk in the woods. Just a calm, normal day, but they wandered a bit too deep into the trees. That's when they saw it, a clown, standing completely still in the middle of the path, not saying a word, just staring at them. It didn't move at first, it just stood there. They turned back quickly, but before they could get far, the clown suddenly sprinted toward them. They ran for their lives and didn't stop until they were safely out. Nobody got hurt, but those woods, yeah, they never went back. Masked stalkers. Some film students were shooting near Parnell Station in Auckland when they spotted two people in white masks watching from the tall grass. At first, they laughed it off like a weird prank, but then one of the masked strangers lifted what looked like a pistol, and that's when it stopped being funny. The group bolted toward the road, and soon a police helicopter showed up. Turns out, these masked creeps had been bothering others too. Even if the weapons were fake, the danger felt real. Just a school project turned into a nightmare. Watching white figure. Back on November 9th, 2017, a guy named John went camping near this creepy, broken-down farmhouse in the middle of the woods. People in town said the place was haunted, but John just wanted to explore and film the old ruins. He walked through the place, completely unaware of what was behind him. A pale figure in white was just standing there behind a tree, staring at him. It wasn't there when he was filming, only in the footage. Honestly, good thing he never turned around. Smiling stranger. A guy was out in the woods one night trying to find his way back when something started to feel off. He felt like he wasn't alone. Then he saw him, a man just standing behind a tree, not hiding, not saying a word, just staring with this wide, creepy grin. He didn't blink, didn't move, just smiled, like he was waiting. The guy froze for a second, but instincts kicked in. He ran fast, and he never went back to that forest again. Ghost in forest. A traveler in Indonesia decided to take a break near the woods. The night was calm, stars were out, and everything felt peaceful. He lit a fire and started recording to capture the moment. But when he watched the video later, his heart dropped. A ghostly figure was seen walking just a few feet in front of him, right there, in the frame. He didn't see anything in real time, only in the footage. That relaxing night suddenly became nightmare fuel. He left the area and never looked back. Camping psycho.
Oh no. Oh no.
After a day of hiking, a guy returned to his campsite and found his tent completely torn apart. Hiding behind a tree, he spotted a strange man destroying his stuff for no reason. The camper stayed hidden until the guy walked off. Then he packed his gear and made a run for his car. But when he got there, it got worse. The back window was broken, and someone had spray painted "Go Away" on the side. Before he could even react, the same man came charging at him. He managed to escape, barely, and promised himself he'd never go camping there again.
Hey, please, I'm leaving.
Hidden watcher. While camping deep in Pennsylvania, far off the Allegheny Trail, a group of friends thought they were totally alone. Later, when checking their photos from the night, one of them spotted something terrifying. Behind the campfire smoke, barely visible between the trees, was a dark figure. They swear it wasn't there when they took the photo. Local legends talk about forest beings like the Giwoggle and Albitwitch, creatures that stay out of sight. Cemetery camper.
I've come up to that bit where the light was just shining. What?
This YouTuber decided to stealth camp near an old cemetery. Classic horror setup, right? Everything was chill until he went into the woods to make coffee. That's when it started. He saw a pale shadow moving behind him. Then came glowing orbs floating between the trees and weird sounds echoing around. And just when he thought it couldn't get weirder, he saw a figure standing ahead in the woods. But when he looked again, gone.
What the f***? I can't see anything.
Footsteps at night.
Hello?
A camper was trying to sleep in his tent deep in the forest when weird sounds woke him up. He grabbed his flashlight and stepped outside, called out, "Hello? Anyone there?"
Hello?
But it was dead quiet. Looked around. Nothing. He turned to head back inside, thinking it was no big deal. Then came the sound. Slow, heavy footsteps behind him. He spun around. No one there. That was enough for him. He packed up his stuff and was gone before the sun came up. Some things you just don't stick around to find out. Crawling like animal. While hiking with her family on the Bukit Jugra Trail in Malaysia, a 20-year-old woman suddenly collapsed. Then things got weird. She dropped to all fours, started growling, and her eyes looked completely wild. Her teeth were clenched, and she moved like something had taken control of her body. People around her froze, watching in shock as the scene played out. The whole thing was caught on camera. Whatever happened to her at that moment, it didn't seem normal. It wasn't just a breakdown. It felt like something darker had gotten in. Mystery Road Girl. Back in 2022, a group of friends was driving through a quiet area in Belmont, Michigan, filming for TikTok. The road was empty, completely dark, until they saw her. A girl was on all fours by the side of the road, soaking wet, like she'd just crawled out of the nearby river. It didn't feel right. They didn't stop, just kept driving and filmed the whole thing. Later, they called the police. When officers arrived, the girl was still there, and it turned out she was a missing person. Nobody knows how she got there or why. That one late-night drive turned into a story that still doesn't make sense. Forest Voices. A group of friends were having a chill night around the campfire when things took a creepy turn. First, they heard loud bangs coming from the woods. Then came weird animal-like grunts and haunting calls. Stuff that didn't sound human. One guy started recording, and the video captured those deep, strange sounds coming from all over. It felt like the forest was alive and angry. The group didn't wait to find out what it was. They ran to their truck and got out fast. Whatever was out there, it definitely wasn't part of their weekend plans. Bluehaired Mystery.
It has now been 3 years since the disappearance of a Madera County woman. Sandra Johnson Hughes was last seen in 2020.
In June 2020, Sandra Hughes vanished while hiking in the Sierra National Forest. Her car was found near a trailhead, and her campsite looked like someone had just left, but she was gone. Search teams combed the area, but there was no sign of her. Then, a boy claimed he saw a woman with blue hair nearby. Nobody knows if it was really her or something else. The sighting only made things weirder. Sandra's case is still unsolved, and what really happened to her remains one big mystery in the mountains.
One of the hardest things with this case is just really the lack of clues. So, we found a campsite, we found a sleeping bag that belonged to her, but beyond that, she seemingly just kind of disappeared.
Owl Ritual.
Owl is in his leafy temple.
These campers were just hanging out on a hillside when they started hearing some strange chanting coming from deep in the woods. They followed the noise, thinking it was nothing, but what they saw freaked them out. A group of people in robes were standing in a circle around a giant owl statue, doing some kind of ritual. The chanting? Creepy. The energy? Off. The campers didn't wait to see more. They packed up and dipped out like it was none of their business. And honestly, it wasn't.
They have overwhelmed the evil intruder.
Lost footage. Hunters found a strange camera deep in the woods. It looked like it belonged to a solo hiker who had gone missing. Most of the footage is glitchy, out of focus, and totally silent, but the eerie stuff stands out. You can see the hiker moving fast, looking over his shoulder, like something's chasing him. In the distance, there's weird movement like someone or something is watching. Then, out of nowhere, the camera drops. And that's it. Nothing after. The hiker was never found. The video feels like a bad horror film, but this one might actually be real. Camping alone takes guts, but after this, maybe don't. River Ghost. This guy was out in Scotland filming otters near a peaceful river, just doing his usual nature content. Totally chill, nothing weird. But later, while reviewing the footage, he caught something creepy. In the background, right near the trees, a faded figure appeared for just a second. One frame it's there, next frame it's gone. Not a camera bug, it looked like someone was just standing still, then vanishing. The craziest part? It happened in broad daylight. Not a spooky night, no fog, no lightning, just sunshine and a full-on ghost sighting. Makes you wonder how much creepy stuff we've all walked right past without even noticing. Growls in dark.
It walked. It literally sounded...
One camper was trying to sleep when weird noises woke him up. He leaned out of his tent to listen, then heard a deep, growling sound just outside. His body froze. The growls were steady, low, and way too close. He peeked again, but nothing was there. Still, the sound got louder. That was his sign. Time to leave. He slipped out quietly and walked away fast. Even while escaping, the growls followed him, like something invisible was tracking him. Whatever it was, it didn't want him there, and he wasn't about to stick around and find out why.
Nope. Let's just go.
Campsite visitor.
There are people about 100 meters away.
Will picked a remote backcountry spot to camp in his car, far from any people. At first, the silence felt peaceful, until it didn't. A strange humming came from the ground, followed by loud cracks, like branches snapping under something heavy. Then came a dragging sound, like something crawling nearby. His night vision camera didn't catch much, just shadows. But the deep growl, that was real. By morning, the woods were still again, but Will couldn't shake the fear. He went there to record the dark, but ended up living through something he couldn't explain.
A second, I'll get the drone up and I'll show you exactly.
Eyes above.
Outros lados que é bem escondido dela rosa.
A group of friends went into an abandoned asylum, filming everything for fun. Nothing felt off while they were inside, but later, when they rewatched the footage, they spotted something terrifying. Two strange figures with lifeless faces were watching them from above. They looked trapped, like they'd been stuck there for years. Nobody saw them in person, but the video didn't lie. That night, it felt like something followed them, and it might not have been human.
Outros lados que é bem escondido dela rosa.
Roadside figure. While biking the Westmoreland Rail Trail in Pennsylvania, a YouTuber caught something creepy on his GoPro. Along the path, he spotted someone standing by the road, dressed in old-style clothes, like they were from another time. It looked off, but when he zoomed in later, it only felt worse. He posted the clip online and theories exploded. Some said it looked like a ghost or part of a secret cult. Others guessed it might be a person living off the grid. No one really knows. But one thing's for sure, what he saw wasn't normal. Tribal welcome. An Australian YouTuber took a trip to the remote islands of Vanuatu, thinking it'd be a peaceful escape. But deep in the jungle, things got intense fast. They ran into local tribes. Painted, serious, and powerful. At first, the crew thought they were in danger, but turns out they were being welcomed. The tribe showed them dances, rituals, and shared their way of life. What started as a scary moment became something unforgettable. No drama, no chaos, just real connection with people living wild and free. Bridge clown. While flying his drone near a haunted bridge, this YouTuber caught something seriously creepy. A clown just standing under the bridge, doing nothing but staring straight at the drone. It didn't wave, didn't laugh, just pointed up at the camera like it knew it was being watched. Right as the drone started to leave, the clown picked up rocks and threw them hard. The crew didn't wait to see what came next. This wasn't a joke or a prank. It was straight up aggressive. That bridge had its own kind of monster, and it wore face paint. Drone rescue.
Back everyone. Well, an Arkansas drone company, they are being praised today for their critical role in finding a young child who'd been missing in the woods for hours.
Yeah, a walk in the deep woods of North Louisiana left a 10-year-old girl lost and her family and law enforcement on a desperate search. That is until this moment caught on tape.
In Louisiana, a 10-year-old girl went missing in the middle of the night, likely from sleepwalking into the woods. Search teams came out, but they couldn't find her. That's when Josh Klober, a drone operator from Arkansas, stepped in. He drove in, launched his drone, and searched for hours. Then he found her in the trees. Thanks to Josh's quick action and a drone, the girl was brought home safe. He didn't wear a cape, but that night, he was a real hero.
There was big wooded areas around, but I'm trying to think like a 10-year-old, you know, and I think she was walking down the road supposedly, and I didn't figure she'd get too far off of it, so I just wanted to kind of stay 30, 40 yards off the road. So the video picks up where, you know, she's sleeping there. And
camping horror. One camper was resting inside his RV, tucked deep into the forest, ready for a quiet night. But then came the screaming. It was a woman's voice, loud, panicked, and coming from the trees. He stepped out, calling out for her, but no one answered. That's when he saw it. Something moving in the woods. Fast. Fear hit hard. He ran back into the van and locked up, but it didn't stop. Whatever it was slammed against the doors, trying to get in. Right when it got too much, the van's alarm went off. That scared it away. But that night, it still haunts him. Quiet Town. This guy and his friends were using the Randonautica app when it led them to a mountain town that looked peaceful but felt totally wrong. The streets were empty, houses falling apart, and creepy mannequins stared out from dark windows. No animals, no wind, just this dead silence. As night fell, the app kept pushing them deeper. Then a rock dropped from above. A second later, a twisted face peeked from behind the rubble. That was enough. They bolted back to the car. The place felt off, like they weren't supposed to be there. Whatever it was, it didn't want visitors. Forest intruders.
Alright, no.
Chris Beard and his friends were out in the woods, hoping to contact spirits using a spirit box. But what showed up wasn't a ghost. A strange car rolled up, headlights cutting through the dark trees. Then loud snapping sounds echoed, like something or someone breaking branches all around them. They grabbed their stuff and took off. That night turned from ghost hunting to survival. They never found out who it was or why they came. Some things out there just don't want to be found, and they're not ghosts.
Alright, no.
Glitched thing. A hunter set up a trail cam deep in the woods to catch animals on video, but what he got instead was nightmare fuel. The footage showed a strange figure blending into the trees. It didn't walk like a person. It kind of floated, moved sideways, vanished, and then reappeared. Each time getting closer to the camera. Its movements were weird, twitchy, and totally unnatural. The hunter posted it online, hoping for answers. Some people said it looked like a spirit messing with the camera. Others thought it was something not from here. But no one could explain it. One thing's for sure, that wasn't a deer. Calling figure. Some kids were playing in the woods, having a good time, when their dad noticed them sprinting back like they'd seen a ghost. Shaken and scared, the kids said a strange figure appeared and asked them to follow it. The dad thought maybe they imagined it, until he checked the camera he had running nearby. And yeah, it was there. A tall, dark shape standing still near the trees, just like the kids described. It didn't move. It didn't chase. It just waited. The family left right after and never went back. Some say whatever that thing was, it didn't want to hurt them. It wanted them to listen. Witch signal.
Oh! Whoa, hold on. What the heck is that?
A group of friends went deep into the woods just to explore, for fun. But the deeper they got, the weirder things started to feel. The trees looked wrong, bent in strange ways. So instead of going further, they turned back and sent up their drone to check it out. That's when they caught a witch-looking woman. She was just standing in a clearing, totally alone. At first, they just watched, but then she stared right at the drone and started motioning for it to leave. Finally, they pulled the drone back and left.
From now, we're gonna lose our drone. We're 100%. Yo!
Blue Watcher. While hiking alone in the woods, a man spotted something so strange, it stopped him in his tracks. Standing not too far away was a figure, tall, still, and completely quiet. It had long hair, a long beard, and skin that was blue. The man didn't stick around to chat. He slowly backed away, not wanting to test whatever this thing was. Later, when he posted the footage online, people couldn't agree. Some said it was a forest-dwelling hermit. Others were sure it was something way more supernatural. Whatever it was, it definitely wasn't normal. Unseen presence. This man hiked the same forest trail every single day with his dog. This one trip, something felt off. His dog's eyes were locked onto something in the trees, tail down, ears back. But when the man looked, there was nothing there. His dog kept staring like it was watching something walk past. Trusting the dog's instincts, the man turned around and headed back home. He couldn't explain it, but he knew something was wrong.
What do you see, Coda?
Amber's disappearance.
Search for a teenager who's been missing for 6 days now. But 14-year-old Amber Dubois' family is not stopping. The FBI has stepped in, and the family is now working with a private investigator.
In 2009, Amber Dubois left for school like normal, walking in Escondido with a check in hand. She was planning to buy a lamb for a school project, but she never made it. No one saw her being taken. There was no security footage, no clues either. It was like she vanished into thin air. For a whole year, her case went cold. Then in 2010, in a remote area far outside the city, her remains were found. What really happened to Amber? The truth still feels buried. Subscriber pick.
Tara was a very active person. She had been her entire life. From the time she was little, she was in Pee-wee cheerleading. She did softball. She was part of the ski club. She loved playing tennis.
On September 20th, 1988, 19-year-old Tara Calico went out for a bike ride in Belen, New Mexico, and never came back. Her bike was found dumped on the side of the road, along with a cassette tape she had with her, but no sign of Tara. It was like she just vanished. Then, about a year later, a photo appeared out of nowhere. It showed a girl tied up and gagged in the back of a van, and she looked just like Tara. That photo gave people hope, but nothing ever came of it. No arrests, no real answers. To this day, no one knows what really happened. The trail went cold, but the mystery never did.
But it wasn't until I went out with her friends and her boyfriend on the search. It was cold, it was getting dark. There's a storm coming in. Everybody was walking literally like 2 feet apart, hand by hand, across both sides of the road in these empty fields, driving up and down the highway, looking for any clue.